Good morning. On behalf of the Education Department, iHub and Funskool, I welcome you all for the launch of the collaboration between iHub and Funskool to promote startups and innovations in the toy sector. I would now like to welcome Shri Hiranmay Mahanta, CEO iHub, for his welcome address.
Thank you, Dhara. Respected Anju Sharma Madam, Principal Secretary, Higher and Technical Education, Government of Gujarat and Chairperson iHub, Professor Himanshu Pandya, Chief Mentor iHub, Nagarajan Sir, Commissioner of Higher Education and Honorary Executive Director of iHub, Jaswant Ji, the Chief Executive of Funskool, and Twinkle Krishna Ji, the General Manager, Sales and Marketing of Funskool. We welcome all of you to this launch of this collaboration. Though we have been getting this conversation going a step further since we first time connected to Jaswant Ji, and I remember when Anju Madam connected us, and the first conversation itself clicked. And Jaswant Ji told that the MOUs may have limited purview, but Funskool will look for a long-term collaboration with creating innovation ecosystems in toy space in Gujarat. When we started this conversation, we hardly had any clue what we will do for the initial trigger. But then we had them for the National Toy Meet, in which Funskool not only participated in the inauguration, but also declared awards. And I'm happy to inform all the audience through this platform that during the Ahmedabad Design Week, Funskool also not only curated the sessions, but also awarded the best teams who participated in the Toy Design Challenge. So I thank Jaswant Ji for the generous gesture and the entire team of Funskool, and also to taking this MOU to this stage. And now we are formally getting this movement to next stage. And as Madam was briefing behind the screen before the session, we have taken a very committed step to create an ecosystem for toy in the state of Gujarat. Right from helping the kids to ideate, right from helping them to pitch to the industry people across toy industry, and also help them to convert those POC into marketable products. And maybe the next step would be Twinkle Ji and others from his sales and marketing team could guide these people sometime down the line, how could really take these innovations next stage. Because the gestation period of these innovations are lesser, but the marketing and packaging is a big challenge for individual innovators. So today we are going to learn from all of you how we will create this collective ecosystem for toy innovation. We have Professor Himanshu Pandya, who has been constantly pushing us to next level. And he was telling me the other day that out of 450 incubators in the country, hardly any single innovation center is focusing on toy and allied sectors. And he was teasing me, why don't you take a lead through iHub? And I think with support from Jaswant Ji and others, we can make that dream really possible. Anju Madam was very kind enough to give specific time to meet one-on-one with all toy companies. And I remember Honorable Minister of Education also participated in some of the conversation, despite those very informal beginning conversation. But that level of commitment has ensured that Gujarat takes a lead in terms of tapping the potential of the toy innovation and toy things. And I'm sure this conversation and this collaboration will take that spirit to next stage. And with the guidance of Anju Ma'am, Dr. Pandya, Nagarajan Ji, and the team of Jaswant Ji, Twinkle Ji, and your entire workforce at Funskool, very soon, within a year, we'll be able to demonstrate what capacity in the ecosystem we have at the iHub and Government of Gujarat to scout at least few hundred ideas, help them to translate into actionable products, and also to take them to market. I welcome you all for this special session during the launch of the collaboration between Funskool and iHub Government of Gujarat, and all of your guidance and blessings will certainly inspire all the stakeholders involved in the toy innovation sectors, not only in Gujarat, but also in the whole country, and ensure that the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of India getting a major chunk share of the toy industry will be fulfilled in days to come. I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to welcome Shri M. Nagarajan, sir, Director Higher Education, Government of Gujarat, and Honorary Executive Director of iHub.
Good morning. Respected Principal Secretary, Higher and Technical Education, Anju Sharma Madam, who is also the Chairperson of iHub and driving the student startup and innovation movement in Gujarat and taking it to across the country. Respected Chief Mentor, Professor Himanshu Pandya, Shri Jaswant, Shri Twinkle, Mr. Hiranmay, and my dear students and startup entrepreneurs. Today marks another milestone in the journey of toys towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, and also yet another great milestone for the student startup movement in the state of Gujarat. what started as a way for helping the students to convert their ideas to products and then take to market. Across the 3 years, over the 3 years, this movement has now matured to reach more than 3,000 ideas being funded, almost 800 patents being applied, and more than 200 granted, and making greater impact on the mindset of the students from being a typical student to an entrepreneurial, curious, and innovator mindset. That is the biggest transformation which is going to bring dividends for us for the many decades that are going to come. In this journey, it started as a very wide approach across all the sectors, all the domains, and all the technologies, especially in emerging technologies. Currently, this focus on toys is giving a renewed focus and energy to have a very impactful and grounded approach for student startup and innovation. And with a focus on toys, this is getting more inclusive and diversified approach for broad basing the innovation movement and also creating relevant localized solutions. Creating local solutions for local problems through the local youth has been the mantra for the student startup and innovation movement. And I am glad to share that this event marks a next evolution of this journey. India's share in global toy market is only 0.5% of the 90 billion, and 80% of the toys sold in India are imported from outside, especially China. So there is India is also one of the biggest markets for toys. So there is a sangam of innovation, market, and the innovators in this platform. And by Funskool joining with iHub, we are setting new benchmarks, not just in terms of collaboration, but in terms of focused innovation and industry also supporting the innovation by the students and taking it to the market. Gujarat is home to several toy clusters, and there are thousands of artisans who produce indigenous toys, which have not only cultural connect, but also help build life skills, psychomotor skills to children at an early stage. And apart from that, Gujarat is also going to have the largest toy museum in the world. It is being constructed under the Balban project of Children's University of Gujarat, and more than 11 lakh toys from ancient times to modern times will be displayed here. The recently concluded Ahmedabad Design Week, which focused on toying with design. So it created a melting pot for ideas that are converging on toys and also design. And having an Indian-based approach to toys and giving prominence to Indian toys and Indian psyche and culture is going to build the youth with a better value system for the society. So toy is no child's play. It is going to be a tool for building the future of India. And Funskool joining with iHub creates various pathways to enable these innovations. iHub and Funskool can co-create and foster innovations, and we can collaborate to support early stage startups. We can support incubation, virtual incubation, and also support the ideas to enable this mind to market journey. And of course, mentoring, which is one of the important aspects of taking the toy innovation to mainstream. And the student startup and innovation policy focuses on pre-incubation, which is the idea stage to the pre-incubation stage, and after which the startups, when they are mature, they will be taken up by the corporates or they will be funded by angel and the angel investors and venture capitalists, which is the mainstream startup movement that has been happening across the country. So in this platform, I look forward to working with Funskool through the iHub platform and take worthy ideas to the market and make an impact not just on the society but also in the market. Funskool, being one of the market leaders, can get a lot of new ideas into their portfolio through this new open innovation model, and a lot of students and startups will also be benefited, and it will be very beneficial to all the stakeholders in this entire scenario. So I congratulate iHub and Funskool for making this, formalizing this relationship, and and wish all the best for making this a very impactful and successful venture. And I look forward to working with all the stakeholders in making toys has a big impact for the startup and innovation movement in Gujarat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to welcome Shri Twinkle Krishna, General Manager, Sales and Marketing at Funskool, for his address. We welcome you, sir.
Thanks, Zara. Thank you very much, Mr. Nagarajan, for your kind words. Distinguished dignitaries, Ms. Anju Sharma, IAS, Professor Himanshu Pandya, Mr. R. Jaswant, Mr. Nagarajan, IAS, Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta, and my dear participants. It's a privilege indeed to join all of you on this occasion. Along with our CEO, Mr. Jaswant, I represent Funskool, India's leading toy manufacturer. We are part of the MRF group and have a legacy of 33 years in designing, manufacturing, and marketing toys. It's a duty of a leader to grow the industry. Funskool has been playing this role in the toy industry in our own way. But with the help of initiatives such as iHub, we are delighted to step up our efforts in this sphere. For any industry to thrive, there should be a very strong link between industry and institute. All great institutes of management or technology usually have a designated cell that coordinates their interaction with the industry. The vision of the Gujarat Student Startup and Innovation Hub is indeed laudable. It aims to be a center for all startup stakeholders to develop an innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem by charting pathways from mind to market. I would say that the key phrase here is mind to market. Most of the first-time entrepreneurs have the idea in mind. They would have churned it, tested it in their own ways, and would have been personally convinced that there is a market for the idea. But the key challenge will be how to market what is in the mind. With an esteemed administrator as Ms. Anju Sharma as a chairperson, and an illustrious academician as Professor Himanshu Pandya as a chief mentor, iHub has everything in it that an entrepreneur could ask for. For an industry to grow, we have to grow the number of customers and their transactions. To do this, we need more and better products. This can be made possible only by new ideas and new entrants into the industry. A new entrant coming into an industry with usually a new idea is what entrepreneurship is mostly about. When an entrepreneur comes in with a new idea, she will need support on two fronts. The first is in funding to get the idea into commercial production. The second is in the guidance of what will work and what may not work, which will include pricing strategy, launch time, and product features. To talk of Funskool's commercial manufacturing capabilities, we have 3 manufacturing units, 1 in Goa and 2 in Ranipet near Chennai. These factories have all the latest machinery for working on all kinds of designs with plastics. We do realize that there is a growing demand for wood-based toys these days. We are augmenting our capabilities in wood. Funskool and its team, who are veterans in the toy industry, can offer a wealth of experience to the budding entrepreneurs. We launch about 100 new products in an average year. That's a reservoir of experience of launching more than 3,000 products in India over the last 30 years. Some have become hero products, some have not. We learn as much from the products that failed as from the products that have succeeded. The other unique assistance that Funskool can offer a new entrepreneur is reach. We have a network of about 4,500 retail outlets across India. These include the small toy shops at the corner across the street, which are an integral part of our distribution strategy, as well as the big names in the toy retail industry. When Funskool takes up commercial production of your product idea, you are guaranteed reach. Your product will also be available across e-commerce platforms. Akin to the call that our Prime Minister gave for India to be Atmanirbhar or self-reliant in toys, Funskool had sensed this need and worked towards building our own brands like Giggles and Fundo. We have undergone the whole journey of battling global toy majors, competing against the financial and marketing might in making a success of our homegrown brands. We have a history of maintaining long-standing relationships with our partners, be it stockists, retailers, or licensors. trust is one of the cardinal principles that we abide by. It's critical for an entrepreneur to work with someone who she can trust with her intellectual property rights. And what's in all this for Funskool? We do know and acknowledge that novelty and innovation are critical in the toy business. Everyone in our senior management spends a lot of time with the design and development team. They say that the study of a nation's toys reveals the hopes and priorities of its people. As part of being Atmanirbhar, it's important that we design toys for our children based on themes and values that we want them to grow up with. Toys made in India should encourage our children to espouse Indian moral and cultural values. How can we expect a child who plays with a gun all her life to hold a flower for her friend when she grows up? Should we not have games based on the Panchatantra or on the lives of Gandhiji, Sardar Patel, or Jhansi Ki Rani? Do we always have to play board games with Western themes? Can we not develop games based on indigenous games of India? While Funskool has made a small foray into this, we urge young innovators to design and develop toys and games based on our culture and our traditional sports and games. Supported by iHub, we look forward to working with premier institutes such as the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, to develop a pool of outstanding toy designers. We should note that the ultimate success of a Made in India toy will be when we bid for global licenses. Currently, we are planning to make in India for use in India. Our attempt should be to make in India for use across the world. I'm sure that the seeds that are sown by iHub and supported by institutes such as NID will definitely get us there. In all such efforts, all of you can count on your own toy company, Funskool, to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights and insights on how this collaboration will give the much needed reach to the startups and the need for development of indigenous games. I would now like to request our iHub team to formally launch the MOU between iHub and Funskool. Thank you so much, team. I would now like to request Shri R. Jaiswant, sir, Chief Executive Officer of Funskool, for his address. We welcome you, sir.
Anju Sharma, Professor Himanshu Pandya, Mr. M. Nagarajan, Mr. Mahanta, my colleague Twinkle Krishna. We're extremely happy to enter into this MOU with iHub to promote design innovations and startups in the toy industry, with particular reference to the state of Gujarat. We hope that this initiative will contribute and lead the way in ultimately succeeding in making India the hub of the global toy industry, as envisaged by our Prime Minister. This MOU, which we have just gone ahead with, according to me, should pave the way to accomplish the following. The most important thing, build a pool of toy design professionals by providing opportunities for lucrative and satisfying career options in the toy industry. Promote innovations and startups and provide mentoring support, and provide an environment which will accelerate development of products relevant to Indian customers and for the huge global market. Funskool works with a number of toy inventors worldwide on royalty arrangements. In fact, we have many inventors who are based abroad and who work with us on royalty arrangements, and we've been able to give them very satisfying returns on the products that they have created. We would like to bring our experience to the fore to provide opportunities to developers and innovators in India by providing a robust commercial model, which is, I think, very, very important. Now, inventors who, to keep their passion alive, ultimately, the commercial part of it cannot be neglected, and we are suggesting a robust commercial model. We have already announced cash awards for the best toy designs, with a promise of commercial manufacturing with royalty payments to selected developers. I'm sure all of us know that India probably has the lowest per capita consumption of toys among relevant economies. When I talk of an instance where if you talk of the game Monopoly, which is very, very popular, 1.67 monopolies is what every American household has. And in India, I do not know what it will be. It should be 0.000 or something. So that is the opportunity. We have a great opportunity to popularize more of our board games and toys. We are now seeing the first generation of young parents who have had the exposure to branded toys in their childhood. This is very important. If a parent, if today's young parent, if he or she has played with branded toys, they make sure that their children are also exposed to the joy that they derive playing these games. So, but very few Indian parents have had exposure to branded toys in their childhood, which is a major negative in popularizing toys and games in India. The toy market worldwide is huge, and in India, we've just scratched the surface with the industry barely 0.5% of the world toy market. We keep talking about this 90 billion US dollars is the size of the world toy market, and the Indian toy market is at about 450 million, which makes it 0.5% of the world toy market, and 1.3 billion people live in India. And for the age group which we are targeting, 1 to 12, about 25%, 20 to 25% of the world's population of children live in India. So you see the opportunity is just fantastic. This is an industry which can throw up extremely good results in quick time, and we will all work towards achieving this. I have always maintained that it would be a good move for design institutions to offer toy design as an elective. The NID, the National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad, is one of the very few institutions offering such an option. To be a global player, we would need to build complete manufacturing infrastructure. Now, one of the things we need to do is to bring focus to tooling for toys, and institutions like the NTTF could consider tooling for toys as part of course content. To sustain the long-term growth of the toy industry in India, it will not be enough to remain a sourcing destination for global toy makers who will not hesitate to move to cheaper manufacturing destinations whenever opportunities present themselves. Many of the global toy makers who today make products in India, if they get the product 10 cents less manufactured in a Vietnam or a Taiwan, they would not hesitate to move. So what is important? Our challenge is to build and sustain our own toy brands. Building a scale is critical. Now, we cannot, in India, in the Indian toy industry, the biggest handicap is tooling for toys. And for the size of the Indian toy market, building tools is a very expensive proposition. So it is very important. The scale is very important and critical. And for that, we have to take our brands to global markets. Innovation is the key in an industry driven by novelty. The toy industry works entirely on novelty. There is a huge opportunity lurking for design and development professionals, and we intend to identify and nurture talent in the field. Funskool has been hugely successful in developing our own brands. We have shown that it can be done. But the brands that we created for the Indian market are today very, very popular and have attained leadership status in many categories. We have also, for your information, we have also taken our brands to global markets. And today about 25 countries, including the US and UK, have distribution arrangements for toys made in India by Funskool.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
I would now like to welcome Professor Himanshu Pandya, Vice Chancellor, Gujarat University and Chief Mentor, iHub, for his address. We welcome you, sir.
Good morning, one and all. Respected Madam, respected Nagarajan sir, Mr. R. Jaswant, Mr. Twinkle Krishna, and very energetic Hiranmay, who leads the whole team and who makes people run all the time. He calls 3 times in a night that tomorrow there is a meeting early morning, so you need to wake up early and be there on the screen. So thank you for making us live and making run after you. I think this is a wonderful discussion going on. I would not preach anything here. I would not like to add something what you people have just narrated. 3 experienced people, I tell you,
Mr. R. Jaswant with his seniority and the experience in the field, Mr. Twinkle Krishna, who believes in make in India, use in India, then again make in India and use the worldwide. Then the demand of the toy, wooden toys, and what Mr. Nagarajan has just mentioned. One thing is sure that now the network is appropriate, where policymaker, government organization, academic institutions, and manufacturers, they all are at one platform. So I think iHub can play a very big role here, where what Mr. R. just mentioned, that if you are not going to provide them appropriate platform, people would run away. They will go to either Taiwan or China or somewhere else, Vietnam or countries like that. And yeah, so when government institutions are involved in a process of manufacture, market, and again the imports and exports business, I think we can do wonders. Here we can cite one example of Kabaddi Premier League, where just 5 years back nobody was knowing what is Kabaddi Premier League, and now it is a multi-million-dollar enterprise, right? So likewise, we have many games available in our portfolio. It is played in the region-wise, in a state-wise. We can identify those characters. We can, coin a new mascot. You can coin new characters out of it. And for that designing of characters and that toy, we have academic institutions. We can take them in loop, and we can frame the policy accordingly, that if you are going to allow the foreign toys to the market, they have to undergo certain screening processes. So by regulating or providing rules and regulations for dealing with the business, simultaneously policy making as per the local market and local manufacturers benefit, then the promotion of the characters again. If we can do all this, you see, when Harry Potter was launched, way before that, that novel was there in practice. All the characters, again, the films and TV shows and whatnot. So the whole country lives in that temperament. So now, if we are really working for the toy manufacturer and its promotion, what our Honorable Prime Minister just, evoked all of us, it's not a political slogan. It's a movement. We need to understand the message behind this particular message, slogan, that let us manufacture in India. So it is a call for all of us. Let us come together on one platform and start working on the direction what India can be benefited out of it. We need to work on many sector-specific ideas, like just Mr. Twinkle Krishna mentioned, that there is a demand for wooden toys, But yeah, it is there. The survey is there. Now, who is going to work on this? Who is going to network all these things? We need to have, somebody who can, catch the manufacturer, the policymaker, designer, everybody together on one platform. And I think being a government enterprise and the iHub, we can do this very nicely. And I'm confident of, delivering something within short times. And I think I'm really happy to have a constructive and fruitful MOU where all the stakeholders understand their responsibilities. Funskool, being a multi-million-dollar enterprise, again, two experts. One is, mentioning each and every sectors of how toy manufacturing and toy adoption is happening in the country like us. And another one is a very experienced person who is knowing the ins and out of exports and imports, and how toys are being, manufactured and how they are being propagated to the community. So these are all a wonderful discussion going on, and I would second and I would support all these statements here. And let us work something in terms of policy, rules and regulations with the academic institutions, government enterprise, and the manufacturer together. I think this is going to be a wonderful journey with the Funskool. Thank you very much for calling me here and making me part of this MOU. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs always. I would now like to welcome Anju Sharma ma'am, Principal Secretary, Education Department, Government of Gujarat, and Chairperson iHub. We welcome you, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. Shri Jaswant ji, Dr. Pandya, Shri Twinkle Krishna ji, Nagarajan, Mohanta, Dhara, all the other people watching this program of the collaboration between iHub and Funskool for serving the cause of innovation and toys. I must, at the outset, thank Mr. Jaswant for being a part of this massive program that we have launched that we call as Mind to Market. And the basic idea behind this program is to convert the students' ideas into, or the innovators' ideas into practical realities and make them commercial propositions. I must say that Funskool, given their dynamic leadership, Mr. Jaswant has been very proactive from day one that we started this association, which itself reveals how much they are into this cause and how keen they are to help the innovators and also develop the Indian market, or sorry, the Indian producers for toys. We all know that toys is a huge market. I would also say that in marketing, it's a market can also be made to grow. But the $5 billion market that we have right now for toys, it's surprising that India is such a major country, has a very minuscule share. Even our own toys are being imported from abroad. Funskool, being an India-based country, is a great hope for us. And we would like to produce with them, not only for India, but for abroad. And if we work together, that day is not far behind when we can create stories, we can create exemplary milestones in the journey. Every journey starts with a very small step. Today's MOU is that small step. We would like to create the icons, characters, concepts, scenes for toys and games. Funskool has a niche market, which is mostly in academia, mostly in schools and education. And they have been, and they can contribute in a major way on pedagogy in toys. It's very it's rather, I would say that sometimes disappointing that we teach through books and books do not give that experience. Whereas if the same story that the book is saying, if it can be converted into a game, if it can be converted into a demonstration, if it can be converted into a toy, then it can say a lot. The entire life of Gandhiji can be depicted in the form of a game. For example, now I would just give the concept of Atmanirbhar India. Of course, I have been working on this concept of Ani, the Atmanirbhar India. So we have created this mascot called Ani. Now, if Ani has to talk about Atmanirbhar India, or talk about itself, then it can create a game in which how India is contributing to its own economy from the various parts of the country and to the world economy. This can all be done through a game which is played by, say, 5 Anis or 5 characters having different Anis. We can also integrate into worldwide themes. What I'm trying to tell you is that it all just requires a dash of creativity to create toy stories. There is nothing in toy world which cannot be done, which cannot be created. Because this is a world of fantasy. This is a world of imagination. You can create a person I can create a human being with a tail behind, with two horns. You can do anything, because this world is a world of imagination, and it need not be a world of reality. So the wilder your thoughts are, the more interesting characters can emerge. And that's where we have to bring together the creativity, which will bring in turn the interest and the learning thing to the whole, and also the imagination. In education, most unfortunate thing is a kind of education system that we've been propagating since ages. We teach things as we think they exist, and we do not allow the child's imagination to run wild. Whereas it is disruptive thinking that leads to innovation. It is disruptive thinking that leads to creating new things. And that's where we lack because of the culture we propagate. And that's what we have to do with the help of innovation in toys, innovation in games, is to let the creativity run amok, let imagination go wild, and let the students, through toy-based pedagogy, learn that this is what education means, and have an experiential education rather than have a book-based or a chapter-based or a sentence-based or a para-based description of things. So we look forward to working with Funskool. I must only say one thing, that as a part of this collaboration, we would be expecting very good quality problem statements from you. The more good quality statements that we have, the better our innovators can innovate, and a large pool of mentors that we will be looking from you to handhold these into developing their ideas into real life concepts, into the marketable and commercial entities. Because you see, the innovators that are working on their innovations, they are not very familiar with the market, and also the nuances of mass production. So they need a lot of guidance, a lot of mentoring into it. So your problem statements, along with mentoring, along with the technical and financial support from us, it can go a big way. And probably by the end of 2021, I see at least 10 very good toy ideas getting into the market through Funskool, from our innovators, through iHub and Funskool collaboration. So thanks for being a part of this journey with iHub, and we will do great wonders together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's under your vision and guidance that the Gujarat startup ecosystem has reached such great heights. I would now like to welcome Shri Hiranyamanta, CEO iHub, to formally propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dhara. Thank you so much, madam, for curating this movement and also taking the new leaf into the toy innovation segment. I thank Mr. Twinkle. You elaborately explained us how the ecosystem is moving and how probably iHub can really integrate into the value chain that you have created. And the very generous offer that you made of forward integrating the innovation and startup ideas in toy sector from Gujarat through iHub, through Funskool is a very welcoming step, and we thank you for that. Because one of the key bottlenecks in our value chain of incubating ideas is integration to market in the product market fit segment. And therein, your offer of taking the innovations, the suitable innovations to market, I am really thankful for you for that. Jaswantji, the proposal that you have proposed for a royalty-based model of crowd to industry to crowd, our innovators who can propose ideas can integrate with your supply chain to enrich and also to enhance the reach. Both are very important. And I think this is something going to be a very, very unique open innovation model, first time for toy sector in the globe, in which when you have the largest pool of 20% of young children And when we should source ideas from them, industry can curate them, and again, they can send back to the same kids in the market. I think this is a unique combination that you have offered, and we thank you on behalf of iHub and Government of Gujarat for that. And I thank Dr. Himanshu Pandya, because he was the person who triggered this thought that there should be at least 10 incubators in this country who would be specializing at least their 20% energy into toy. And I assured him the other day that, at least iHub will take the baton to start with. And I think having 5 leading toy companies collaborating with us with support from Anju Madam's guidance is going to be the first step towards that. And this is happening at a time when Gujarat already has declared toy clusters, toy museum, and a gamut of value chain support systems. So I think, Jaswantji, thank you so much for being with us since the beginning, and also taking step forward to support our other auxiliary initiatives like Ahmedabad Design Week, National Toy Summit, and others. I thank Nagarajan sir, Commissioner of Higher Education, for being there not only in the guiding space but also putting the hands on down to executing things. And we have been talking to him, how do we really ensure that the modern technology, the industry 4.0, which is very close to his heart, and also toy intersects and take it forward. So thank you, sir, for giving that vision of putting in the cutting edge technology along with the traditional spirit and value of toy sectors. I thank Anju Madam, who has been advising us and guiding us. How do we really create an ecosystem keeping innovators at the center? There are many ecosystems in India and globe which has been done in a multiple heuristics, but Gujarat's uniqueness is made with the intellectual property policy, made with the incubation, made with market integration. The innovators are at the center stage. And this could not have been possible without the guidance and constant push from Anju Madam. So I thank you, Madam, for guiding us. I also thank the team iHub, who has been following us very, very strongly with all the toy industry. And this is the 3rd occasion in which we are doing a deliberation and collaboration with the toy companies. And we'll ensure that all the challenges that we will throw, we have created a network of around 200 leading design schools in India, including both private and public sector. So all the innovation challenges that we will get from Funskool will ensure that they are broadcasted well to all these students and their faculty members. And as Jaswantji, you have given a suggestion of suggesting the design school for elective in toy design. Already Anju Madam chaired a meeting last month in which all the heads of design schools were present. And we had a first round of conversation in that. And one request probably we'll put forward is also taking help of industry like yours to co-design these programs, because then this will be more user-centric, more industry-dependent. We thank Funskool for being a valuable partner in the entire journey. And I thank the entire team of iHub, Government of Gujarat Education Department, and the community of innovation and startup ecosystem enablers in the state of Gujarat for being present here for this auspicious occasion for collaboration between Funskool and iHub. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining today. Namaste.